Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Mountainhead, and this is a new satire drama coming your way from writer-director Jesse Armstrong of Succession fame, and this film focuses on four friends reunite during a worldwide economic turmoil, and they are basically four tech billionaires who are chilling out in like Utah mountains in one of their homes, and they try to orchestrate this global coup, and all the tensions start arising between them, and how far will they go to complete their mission. And this film, feels almost exactly like an episode of Succession, from just the visual storytelling, how it's approached, the camera work. Cinematographer Marcel Ziskin just leans really heavily into that like handheld, you're always watching, like zoom-ins and stuff like that. So if you know the vibe of what Succession felt like, this is it. And, it's an engrossing kind of feeling. It's a fly-on-the-wall kind of feeling. But for me, it kind of felt like this just felt like a TV show episode. And that could be a me problem, but it just didn't feel cinematic in any way, shape, or form. I know this was like an HBO original film, so like this wasn't going into theaters, but like this just felt like it could have been an hour and 48-minute episode of Succession where like these guys existed in the Succession universe. So like it had that kind of limitation. It had it feels like a play kind of limitation where I don't think they really did a whole lot from a filmmaking standpoint to make this feel special, inventive, or interesting. But I think the strength of this is the four actors that really anchor this all down. You have Steve Carell, who's like the veteran. He's the Papa Bear character who has all these strange little quirks, and you can tell Steve Carell's having fun playing around with those quirks. Jason Schwartzman, love Jason Schwartzman. He's great in this. He has this approach where he's the more hesitant, he's the hesitant one that's always on board and then always is trying to spin things what it feels like for himself. And I think Jason Schwartzman sells that kind of feeling, this sycophantic kind of feeling, really well. Corey Michael Smith is like this young buck, like adventurous, complex, and problematic tech billionaire, and he kind of has just this douchey feel, but Smith really commits to it, and you can feel the insecurities, and I think Smith does a good job of finding them and slipping them into his performance. And then you have Rami Youssef, who honestly, his character feels a lot like Rami, and like you can tell he's not on board with all of this stuff. But he still will not just speak out against these other guys. And the way that he like crawls back to them, and like Rami really captures this like kind of pathetic feeling of this character, because if you take a step back, like Jeff, Rami's character, should be the one that we connect with, because like he's not on board with trying to destroy the world order so that they can take over. But like he keeps coming back to them or like apologizing to them. And all of them, like they'll keep throwing the word snake around at each other. They're all snakes in some way, shape, or form. And I think that's one of the interesting ideas of putting them all together. Honestly, some of the best moments feels like it's diverging from this global economic satire that's going on here. Like this feels like a dark as Vonnegut kind of humor going around here. But the moments that really stood out to me were like the silly slapstickier more moments, because like there's a decision made by some of these characters towards another that like spirals this movie into a much darker place. And those shenanigans are silly, but also like kind of ridiculous, and just really shows how inept and idiotic these men are, despite the fact that they have so much money and power. And this is obviously direct shots at specific tech billionaires that I think we could all guess whom we're talking about here. And I think that this film thinks it's a lot smarter than it really is, because, like, after a while, it's just, like, it's the same kind of deal over the course of an hour and 48 minutes of just, like, them spouting tech blah, 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 and being like, we're going to take over the world! And it's fun for what it is, and it has some very blunt and obvious commentary, and, you know, it's really hard, though, to sit with these guys, because, like, the best that you can do is laugh at how ridiculous they are, but none of them are redeemable. And I think Rami's character's, like, the closest, but, like, even him, like, you take a step back and realize, like, he's not a great person either. And I think one of the things that we see that through is just how overbearing and controlling he is over his significant other. That's a running theme throughout the film. And at the end of the day, this film ends, and you're just like, wow, bad people. We get it. This is the kind of stuff that they do, and none of us are surprised. Especially in the world that we live in today, where, like, this feels so timely, but then also, like, yeah, we're living this, so, like, I don't know how clever and prophetic a lot of this stuff is. It's kind of just ripped from the headlines, but it's entertaining, and I think that's the bare minimum Armstrong's able to deliver here, is that this is an entertaining and engrossing film with 4 very committed actors, and it's an interesting experience, to say the least. But those are my thoughts on Mountainhead. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you, as always, for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.